For decades, the rule was simple. If you needed world-class medical care, you were the one who had to travel. But something huge is happening right now that's flipping that whole idea on its head. It's not just about where patients are going anymore, but where the doctors themselves are moving.
So, who moves first? For generations, that was a no-brainer, right? The patient. But that's just not the full picture anymore. The answer is changing, and believe me, that change is redrawing the entire map of global healthcare.
And this, right here, is the heart of the whole thing. We're shifting from patients chasing care to expertise itself becoming mobile. Think about it less like doctors just traveling and more like we're fundamentally rewiring the entire global network of life-saving skills. Okay, so to really get how massive this is, let's first talk about the old model, the one we all know, medical tourism. Because what we're seeing now is its evolution into something totally new, what we call physician mobility. Yeah, you've probably heard of medical tourism, right? People have been crossing borders for years to find cheaper procedures, get access to crazy new tech, or just get around the gaps in their own healthcare systems. The whole model was built around the patient's journey. But that's the old playbook. Today, a whole mix of things, economics, technology, even global crises, means it's the doctors who are packing their bags. And look, this isn't just a few doctors deciding to move. We're talking about the globalization of the entire medical profession. It's like a new kind of doctors without borders, where the most valuable thing you can export is pure expertise. So you have doctors moving for better jobs, for incredible training opportunities, or, in some cases, because they have to flee a crisis back home. But this creates a brand new, massive problem. How can you possibly trust a doctor's credentials when they trained halfway across the world? This is where a global standard becomes such a powerful idea. It's a total win-win. For you, the patient, it's all about trust. It's that peace of mind knowing your doctor is legit no matter where their passport is from. And for the doctors, it's about freedom. The freedom to use their skills without getting tangled up in red tape. But that freedom, it runs smack into a giant wall, a global maze of bureaucracy. Seriously, for any doctor trying to work abroad, figuring out all these conflicting roles is an absolute nightmare. I mean, just look at the European Union. You'd think things would be pretty straightforward there, right? Nope. A doctor's medical degree might be recognized, but their super specific, hard-won specialization, often it's not. So an amazing heart surgeon from Italy might find their specialty, cardiochirurgia, isn't automatically accepted one country over. Even Switzerland, which recognizes a lot of EU degrees, still stumbles on specializations. And it just keeps getting worse. Can you imagine spending a decade becoming an expert in a specific type of surgery only to be told you can't practice because of a language test or because the legal rules are completely different? It's a system that basically punishes doctors for wanting to share their skills. So what's the solution? How do you slice through all this red tape? Well, you do it with one universal key: a doctor's global passport. This is where international certification steps in, and it's designed to unlock this whole new world of medical mobility. So what is this thing exactly? An international medical certification is basically a tool that validates a doctor's entire career, all their skills, all their experience, but, and this is super important, it does not replace an official license to practice medicine in a country. Think of it more like a globally recognized layer of trust that sits right on top of that license. So what's the payoff? What does this passport actually get you? Well, first, it simplifies everything, making it way easier to get temporary gigs abroad. Second, it lets hospitals verify a doctor's entire profile online in real time. And maybe the best part, it eliminates that soul-crushing process of resubmitting the same giant pile of documents over and over again. It basically trades bureaucracy for trust. Okay, that all sounds great on paper, but does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at a perfect test case: the incredibly complex medical system in China. China has some of the strictest regulations on the planet for foreign doctors. It's exactly in a place like this that an international certification goes from being nice to have to an absolute game changer. Okay, so here's the deal in China. A foreign doctor has to be supervised by a licensed Chinese doctor, and that local doctor, they take on all the legal responsibility. The amount of trust required is just immense. This is where that certification becomes mission critical. It gives them that instant, verifiable proof they need, which cuts right through the bureaucracy and builds that trust from day one. So, in a situation like that, certification isn't just an advantage, it's your professional pass. It's what opens the doors that red tape would have slammed shut. Which brings us all the way back to where we started. Who moves first? Well, it's pretty clear now that more and more, it's the doctor. But maybe that was never the right question in the first place. The real question is much bigger than that. In a world where skills and expertise can, and frankly should, cross any border, are our systems actually ready for that change? Because as knowledge becomes more mobile than ever, the biggest wall we face might not be regulations, but our own willingness to build a future based on global trust.